Once you involve your in-laws and family members, this 99% of the times does not help the situation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Oftentimes in our marital lives, problems do arise. And there are situations in which we disagree with one another. What do we do in such situations? If an issue arises in our marriages and the husband and the wife are not agreeing, what is the best path to take in order to reconcile and arrive at a resolution? Number one, when you examine most of the marital problems and the differences, you realize that oftentimes when an issue arises in marriage and the husband has his own views and the wife has her own views, they make the problem personal and they make personal attacks against each other. Never, never, ever make personal attacks against your wife, against your husband. Yes, you've disagreed over a matter. Don't question the personality of your spouse. Because once you put your spouse on the spot and you attack their character and their personality, you've distracted yourself from the real issue at play, and you simply exacerbate the situation. You make things worse. You won't help the situation. Never make personal attacks. Never sound your argument in a way that sounds personal. Deal with the case. Sit with your spouse, examine the case, don't involve anything else. Because oftentimes that's what happens. When we get emotional and we feel passionate about something, we begin to attack the other person. And once you begin to attack the personality of your spouse, you will start to destroy your marriage and you will distance yourself from solving the situation. So this is number one. Number two, never generalize. We always have a tendency to generalize. A problem comes up in our marriages. Sometimes our spouse makes a mistake. We're not infallible. We all make mistakes. We begin to generalize. From one small incident, it could be an important incident, sometimes, we start drawing major conclusions. And then we start attacking our spouse. And you make generalizations. And it is these generalizations that also distract us from the main problem. So never generalize. Treat every case, on an individual basis. Don't try to draw conclusions from them and think that your spouse is not a good person, your spouse doesn't love you, your spouse is influenced by other people against you, your spouse is this. Don't make such generalizations. Stick to the case and try to work it out. Number three, and I firmly and confidently say this, whenever there's a problem in your marriage, please, and I beg you, never involve your in-laws. Because I tell you, from experience of so many of our youth these days, once you involve your in-laws and family members, this 99% of the times does not help the situation. This exacerbates the problem. It creates greater animosity. And if there was a chance that you could resolve the situation, once your in-laws are involved, there's no chance. Yes, seek the experience of your in-laws. I'm not saying that when there's a problem, that's it. Don't consult your in-laws or seek their wisdom. Obviously, your mother has a lot more wisdom than you. Your father has more wisdom than you. Generally speaking, your relatives who are older than you, they've been through much throughout their lives. They've got a lot of experience. Indirectly ask them. Indirectly ask them, in certain situations where two people are not getting along, what kind of advice do you have? Seek their advice. But don't involve them into the small little details of your marital problems. This is not helpful, and I'm confident in saying this. And I've seen so many marriages break up because of the involvement of the in-laws. Do not involve your in-laws as much as you can. Try to work the problem with your spouse. And oftentimes, you can reach a solution. Number four, never give up. Oftentimes, we lose patience. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing us in this life. And sometimes God is testing you with your spouse to see how patient you are. And we have many examples of prophets and imams who were tested, with being patient towards their spouses. This is a lesson that we learn from. Be patient, never give up. Don't say, okay, it's been 2 months and we haven't solved the problem, that's it. It's never going to be solved. Don't ever say that way. As long as you're sincere and you're really trying hard and demonstrate to your spouse that you really care about this, but in a gentle way, in a loving way. If your spouse sees that for several months you really care about this thing, this situation, this issue, whatever it is, and you're really sincere about it, you're not creating commotion and involving in-laws, you're not making personal attacks, you're not generalizing, you're just sticking to the case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will soften the heart of your spouse. This is the natural, course that we see in our lives. So don't ever give up. Keep trying and trying. Use the best means possible. Using your great akhlaq. Show your spouse how much you love your spouse. In fact, increase the demonstration of your love for your spouse, and that will hopefully soften the heart of your spouse. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.